Good evening, welcome to the Hearthstone Half Hour. I'm Hammy and this is FailCraft Casts. Hope you're well and good. It is episode 165, 165 episodes, about a year's worth of Hearthstone, so thank you so much for sticking with us. So tonight we're going to be doing something a bit fun, a little bit different. Big thank you first to Noble T Farmer, who very kindly donated us some packs so that we can all open together and enjoy. So thank you very much, Noble T Farmer, firstly for that. What we're going to do with these packs that we open, we're going to try something a bit different this evening. So, in a bunch of card games, things like whether you be playing Pokemon or Magic or other things like that, physical card games, you have what's effectively known as a draft. Now, Hearthstone has the arena, and the arena is kind of Hearthstone's equivalent of a draft. You go through 30 rounds, you pick a card each time from a set of 3, and then you build a deck with those, having picked a hero. So, in physical card games, you will have boosters in hand, and you'll do things where, say you get given 3 boosters, you sit with 6 people or 5 people, you can pick a card and pass it to the left, and then you'll get a booster pack from your left and your right, and then you'll get another booster pack. So effectively you can have competitive and friendly drafting modes where the cards that you pick are one defined by sort of the amount of cards that you get in the packs that you're given, and also other things like that. So we're going to try this and see how it works with Hearthstone. Say if I went to a card event at my local card shop, they might have what's known as a sealed event, and in that they'd give me 3 sealed boosters and maybe a sealed deck, and they'd say, right, using these boosters, go ahead and build yourself a deck, and then everyone play each other. So taking you away from that sort of ladder, awesome deck, fully constructed, anything you want, trying to force you to sort of think, force you to know the cards a little bit better. So without further ado, let's do this. What we're going to do to try and make it work for Hearthstone, and obviously the arena gives you a choice of 3 heroes, we're just going to pick cards and look at them in every booster, and then what we're going to do is write down the cards that come from those boosters, and we're going to pick a hero that we think suits the most between us, and then we're going to try and play a few games with that deck. So we're going to try and do draft, but in a Hearthstone-y kind of way. So without further ado, let's jump on in. Pack time! And in we go with pack number 1. So remember, we're going to have to try and build a deck with these cards. And of course, final big thanks to okay, let's go. So an Ogre Warmore, okay, for a warrior, so that's not bad at all. 50% chance to attack the wrong enemy, so I'm going to write that one down. Next, we're going to be grabbing, golden Mech Yeti. And the Mech Yeti, of course, a brilliant card. If we saw that in Arena, we would totally grab that. Oh, and an epic Piloted Sky Golem. What amazing packs these are. So far, we're doing very, very nice, and we've got some cool cards that we can go for. A Dark Bomb and a Shrinkmeister. Okie dokie, so that's warrior. And of course, we will have class cards. They may affect what we play, or we may just get a really solid core of a deck. Let's go. Yeah, sure. There's no reason why we can't play against some folks with this deck. It'll be loads of fun. Flame Cannon, Druid of the Fang, Ship's Cannon, Crackle and Soot Spewer. Okay, so Ship's Cannon, Druid of the Fang. So is that going to be taking us towards Flame Cannon, Soot Spear? There's 2 Mage cards there, and Crackle. The Craggle always reminds me of the Lego movie, that. Of course, this one is all, and then we've got Druid, Mage, Chamois. I'm just going to take up a bit of paper. Alrighty then. Oh, Golden Rare, Gnomish Experimenter. Nom-Exp. We've got, Lost Tool Strider, Goblin Sapper, and a Feigned Death. Very, very nice indeed. Hey, that would be quite a fun little hunter deck. So we've got an all classes, Lost Tool, Gob Sapper. This is me trying to write out a shorthand. Now, Ogre Brute, that is actually a really awesome card. These are all ACs, bar the one Hunter, which is Feign Death. And there's a really fun Feign Death Hunter that we were going to do the other night that we can always try and play. Another pack. Gilbin's a really just solid all-round card. You know, for arenas and similar. I quite like having a Gilbin as a 2-drop. I'm just seeing how fast I can write. Force, Tank, Max. That's going to be an FTM. Paladin, Shielded Minibot. Again, a really good turn 2 drop there. Seen and constructed. All classes Puddle Stomper. Because there are never enough Murlocs in people's lives. Last but not least, we've got another warrior card. So as we go through, if you're live on stream, youtube.com/FailCraft Cast, if you're watching on YouTube, I'd encourage you to have a think about what kind of deck could we make with this, what kind of hero do you think would suit best, and to a degree it may well be whatever we have the most hero cards from, but remember that we've got generic cards. We are not going to be allowed to make, if at all possible, we want to make a full deck of cards only using the cards from these packs. If we do need any other cards, then we can only add basic cards from any set. We're not going to be adding any that come in boosters, so we play a draft style. So there's the Annoyotron, the wonderful wall class card that is. We've got the Floating Watcher, which is great for a warlock. We've got another Fang Druid, so there's you know, a bit of sort of maybe beast synergy we could do with the Druid of the Fang. And then, another Warlock, Mistress of Pain. I really like this card, particularly if you can buff it. And then it's doing that much damage, restoring that much health. If you can buff its health and similar, then you can have something really nasty. Okie dokie, so next turn, we're going to get this in. Moving on through. So it's going to take us a little while to draft these, of course. We'll get a couple of games in before we go. And Lost Tall Strider. Lost T. I'm actually just gonna, if we start getting repeats of cards, I should probably just multiply them up, shouldn't I? Silly me. And of course, remember that this is a Goblins versus Gnomes draft. So if we're playing by the rules, we can only use Goblins versus Gnomes cards. So this will be a very fun deck indeed. So I'm going to go back up and find that. Where's that Lost Tall Strider? I'm going to say that we've got 2 of those. A Shielded Minibot. We already had one of those, didn't we? I'm going to write that down too. An Arcane Nullifier is new, and that is a really awesome tank. Now, Taunt can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. It's kind of like a cross between a Fairy Dragon and then the Spectral Knight, but it's a tank. So nice and solid there. 2 ships cannon, because everyone wants more ships cannon than their life. And we had a Puddle Stomper before. I'm going to go and write 2 next to that. Lovely stuff. Silver says in chat, love the Nullifier. Do love the Nullifier. Really solid. Okay, what have we got here? We've got a Stone Splinter Trog. That's an all classes card. And whenever your opponent casts a spell, gain attack. Very nice indeed. Paladin Seal of Light. That's going to let us control aggro very nicely. And then of course the Scarlet Purifier. I've seen this shown up quite a bunch on ladder just because of the amount of death rattles that are flying around, and it's a really strong death rattle counter. Little shout from Lud in the chat saying, where is Doge? Doge is downstairs keeping my wiser half company. She's actually doing some work at the moment, so he's keeping her company while she does so. We've got a rogue, Tinker Sharpsword Oil. Pretty, as we've discussed previously on this show, that's pretty situational. We would need a rogue and weapons decks and similar. So bearing in mind, if we're playing by the rules of we're only going to be picking cards, we're going to build a deck of cards that's solely from the cards in the packs. We'll see how that works out to start with, but start thinking of the hero that you want to go for. So, Tinker Sharpsword, we've got an Anodized Robo Cub, that's really pretty cool and solid as well. We've got some good Druid cards so far. I think we've also got good Warlock cards. we will try and build a deck solely compromised of what we have in these boosters. A third Druid of the Fang, very interesting. Well, that's giving us some good pressure there. If we can combo some beasts. A little Exorcist, and that was the card I was trying to think of a little earlier when we were talking about the Scarlet Purifier, which will be awesome. An Ogre Brute, that's the second one of those we have. That can fly in there and be very awesome. King of Beasts comes in for the Hunter. Now Hunters are being, with Call Pet and similar, they're being encouraged to play a bunch more beasts, things that get beasts into play a lot more quickly, give you a lot more benefit, as well as Gazira. Alrighty then, Annoyatron, a Cobalt Guardian, oh, 2 Annoyatrons, right. We're just going to have, if only we could have more than 2 cards in a deck. Is that another Druid of the Fang? Wow, Druid of the Fang Annoyatron deck looks as though it's coming together. Antique Healbot, that's in all classes, and again that's a very splashable card. If you hear the phrase splashable in terms of card games, it means you can kind of just throw it in most decks, and it's not going to do anything bad. I mean, obviously there are cards, there are particular decks, say Handlock or things, where you need to stay alive, that will need a big heal back. There we go. Ooh, and an Implosion to continue our Warlock. Second Tinkertown tech, that's good. We can look and see if we've got some little mech combos there. Implosion, this card has jumped into Zoo. If you folks have been playing a bit of a ladder, basically the combo is that you throw down an Implosion as a Warlock, it does damage, you fill your board with imps, and then you either buff those imps or you throw down a Sea Giant. The Sea Giant did used to go in Zoo, but now if you can fill your board really quickly with Implosion as a Warlock, then you've got the opportunity to throw down an awesome little oh, we got a Snow Chugger. That's love it. I think we're going to have Chugger as an emote in the stream. So Implosion and then Sea Giant, worth keeping an eye out for in zoos near yous. Very, very nasty. So I'm going to grab another Hunter. So Hunter is also an option. Got Cobra Shot. Cobra Shot is, oh, I just feel like it's not, it's kind of a jack of all trades, so therefore it's not doing anything amazingly. And the Snow Chugger. Mage alright. Chugger, 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 chugger. Okay, number 5. 5 packs to go. Mage alright. Oh, that's another Floating Watcher. I need to write that one down. So obviously if we were playing in a real draft style environment, we'd probably be getting packs handed to us, and then we'd have to pick a card from the pack and it would then be passed on. That's a second Dark Bomb as well. Warlock is a strong option. That's the third Puddle Stomper that we've seen as well. And then Soot Spewer. Soot Spewer, that's Soot Spewer number 2. Mage wise, a Burly Rockjaw Trog. That's the bigger Trog, so I'm going to write that down, and that's an all class as well. Burly Rockjaw Trog. Spell Damage Mage. Alright. Mistress of Pain. Ooh, and another. Is that a second Feigned Death? I think it is. Hunter, Feigned Death. Yes, we've got 2 Feigned Deaths. And another Ship's Cannon is if we didn't want more pirates and all classes. Explosive Sheep. Feigned Death, of course, we've got another Force Tank Max. I wrote that down as FTM, I do believe. Okay. So Warlock looking strong, Hunter looking strong, Mage also looking strong. Oh, hello, Spider Tank. So, and don't forget we've got a nice little mech thread as well coming together quite nicely. So that's all classes. That's a Spider Tank. Running out of room on paper. Ogre Brute, we've got 3 Ogre Brutes, guys. Got a Mech Warper as well, don't forget, look at that. Mech Warper. We could splash some mech into whatever kind of deck we're making and we would have some good options. A Druid as well, let's not forget our Recycle. And third Dark Bomb, very, very strong. Warlock it is. Ooh. We haven't made Wisp yet as an emote in chat, so you guys need to think about what you'd like to define. Ah, there it is. There it is. There you go, Noble. Card Ink. Thank you very much, of course, to Noble Tea Farmer, who's generously donated us some packs so that we can all enjoy them together and do this episode. So, Toshli, there we go. So let's take a look at Toshli. Now, Toshli was one I was thinking about putting together and actually crafting. So let's take a quick look at Toshli and break them down. Battlecry and Death Rattle, and a spare part card to your hand. Now, there are mech mages that run Toshli. So the reason for Toshli being in the mech mage is if you combine Toshli with Archmage Antonidas, I can never remember how to pronounce his name properly, then you get 2 spare parts. You can then, when you get your Antonidas on the table, you can throw those 1 mana spare parts, and remember Antonidas's ability, whenever you cast a spell you get a fireball spell in your hand. So that's the finisher of Mech Mage. Toshli does 2 things. 1, Toshli gives you a few more spare parts, and Toshli will also let you bridge quite effectively as well. Mech Mage will generally jump into the Piloted Sky Golem, type, or the Shredders. So the 4/5 mana area of a Mech Mage, and then this actually tops you off at 6, and then by turn 7 you should be able to throw down, I think Antonidas is 7 mana. So loving a bit of Toshli. We are going to have to play Toshli. Toshli is going to be in our deck regardless, and of course remember, as Noble, hopefully that didn't go too loud in the microphone, Noble T gets the final say as to what we're up to, as these are his packs. So let's put down a Glavezuka for Hunter. An all-class Toshli. Druid, we've still got some Druid in there with Mech Bearcat. Mech Bearcat, an interesting card. It takes damage, adds spare parts, so it kind of powers you up nicely. I'm going to just go back and write down that other Cobra shot. Where's that? Cobra Kai is what I want to call it. Let's do a little bit of a Karate Kid action. And then, hey, Cogmaster. And remember, of course, Cogmaster is all classes. We've got a very, very strong mech theme. Oh dear, I bust your ears on the paper rip, I'm so sorry. Righty then. People shouting, where's your face cam? Maybe next week. I may try and grab a little bit of green screen. That way I can superimpose my head rather than have the entire background of this room. And then a Cogmaster 2. Okay, so there's a real nice mech theme. Last pack. Oh, Goblin Sapper. Oh, 2 Snow Chuggers. He was Chugga Chugga, and a 4th Puddle Stomper. It's as if they wanted us to play Murlocs. It is as if they were wanting us, and a 4th Dark Bomb. Of course, we could only have 2 in the deck. Goblin Sapper, I don't think we had one of those. I know we did with 2 Goblin Sappers. And then Goblin Stalker, Dark Bomb, Puddle Stomper, Snow Chugger. Right, that is us. Okay, so that is our final pack. Thank you so much to Noble T. So in our next bit of an episode, to continue our drafting fun kind of theme, we're going to dust things down and we're going to see what we can build. Now, I've left my phone downstairs. I'm going to see if I can wreck the room, and I'm also going to see if I can find a way of sharing the results of this with you. However, you are going to have a look at my terrible handwriting. This will be a bit of a problem for you. Make it so that your disembodied head floats randomly around the screen. But I could totally do that with a green screen. That is totally possible. I don't know if this is going to work, so we'll do this as a little experiment. I think we'll have to find a better way of doing this in future, because A, I don't want to subject you to my terrible messy desk, and B, my handwriting is atrocious, so you can have a good laugh at that. So what we're going to do now is have a think as to what kind of deck we want to build. we'll have a look at the cards, and then we'll start putting it together with ideally only Goblin versus Gnomes cards, but if that does not work, we'll see if there's another option that we can go for. Okay, so let's take a peek at what there is. Noble T, you have the choice, you have the con as to what we're going to be going for. So, would you fancy? I think it's going to be between Warlock, we've certainly got some strength in. We've also got some strength in Hunter and Druid and Mage. And then in terms of neutral streams of stuff that come out, we've got a bunch of Mage that we could also look at too. So there's some definite options there. Okay, I'm trying to see. Oh, blimey. the face cam should be the Wisp card on stream. Chat votes. Okay, I will put it to chat vote. I'm just trying to see if I can show you these cards without me creating a huge mess. But I'm gonna quickly. Let's see. Oh, look at this! I've made it work. Outstanding. Forgive me for the little technical hitch. Alrighty then. Okay, guys, we're gonna go brave. We're gonna go brave on this one. It's gonna work. If you're on YouTube, my profound apologies. I need to... Oh, look at that. We've kind of got it right. You can be looking at this and thinking, oh my goodness, what is going on? I don't even know if this is going to focus correctly. Come on, webcam. You can do this. Come on, webcam. There's a little focus button on my webcam. What have we got? Well, I'm going to read through this, even though you probably can't see it too greatly. Cobra Shot, Implosion. We've got Tinker's Sharpsword Oil for Rogue, Anodized Robocub for Druid, Alexis, King of Beats, couple of Tinkertown techs, Cobalt Guardian, 2 Snow Chuggers, Ogre Warmal for Warrior, Mechanical Yeti, Piloted Sky Golem. I think we could almost mech Mage, you know, as well as some all classes. There we've got a couple of Paladin cards in Seal of Light and Scarlet Purifier. All cards there, 3 Annoyatrons as well. Floating Watchers, Warlock, I think. Mage and Warlock, we've got the most class strength. And then don't forget we've got lots of all class cards, and we have a lot of mechs in the all class section. So there's probably quite a fun little deck we could beat. All class, we've also got 3 Ogre Brutes. We've got 2 Goblin Sappers, 2 Lost Tall Striders, 2 Feigned S for the Hunter. I think Hunter's probably option 3. So it's going to be Mage or Warlock, and then perhaps Druid and Hunter. I think they're going to be our 4 class choices. So let's take a look. Battlefield paper. Oh yeah, you noticed. Yeah, it's a Battlefield little Battlefield notebook I have. Good spots. Good spot. This is the dangers. If I throw my stuff around, then did we get any sheep? We can make 2 decks. Yeah, why not? Okay. Right, let's have a little vote. Do you fancy? I'm going to see if I can remember the vote command. Oh, that could be exciting. Okay, poll open. Right. Open. What's hero? Mage. Warlock. Hunter. Druid. There we go. So we have a poll in the chat. You folks can choose. Mr. T has very, very generously said, you folks choose. Do you want a mage deck? Do you want a hunter? Do you want a warlock deck? Or do you want a druid deck? Voting chugger is not a valid option. Now I know that I'm gonna get told off if I do. What am I gonna get rid of? Is it gonna be the handlock? Yeah, I think it's gonna be a handlock. We'll get rid of the handlock. Whatever deck you folks fancy. And you can vote 1, 2, 3 or 4. Number 1, you can type exclamation mark vote 1 for mage, exclamation mark vote 2 for warlock, exclamation mark vote 3 for hunter, exclamation mark vote 4 for druid. There we go. And remember, of course, you will have to trust me on this one, but I'm only going to try and use cards. We'll build as much of a deck as we can with the cards that we have obtained from Noble T's packs, and then we'll see if we want to flesh it out with anything else. but I think it'll be fun if we just play straight with this deck. Ooh, it is looking like Mage is in the lead. Mage is in the lead live on screen. Poll results. Poll results, I think. Let's see what's going on. Silver is outnumbered. We can always do 2 decks. We can do a Warlock deck too. We can do a second deck. I think Mage and Warlock would both be very fun. There's some good strong options in either that we could go for. Okay, so I think poll results. I'm going to poll close, and then we're going to get on with crafting our deck. Poll close. Oh, and there we go. So we're going to be making a Mage. Righty then. Right, so Mage. Now what do we have? So firstly I'm going to put all of the class cards that we have in, so you guys can just see it, and then you guys can have a think. We love both crazy stuff and sensible stuff. It's all good fun. So I'm going to put all of the Mage class cards in to start with. So you got 2 Snow Chuggers. So I'm guessing that you're all going to want 2 Snow Chuggers in from the sheer amount of Chuggers we had there. But if I was picking this in a draft, I'd totally go for 2 Snow Chuggers anyway. Really strong card. Freeze any character damaged by this minion. And if you were playing as a Mage, you can wreck weapons-based classes with that. Nothing too bad about the Snow Chugger, particularly with the mech synergy that we have. If we then go and have a look, we've got a Flame Cannon Spears. So we can watch just the 1 Flame Cannon, and then we've got 2 Spears. So remember, we don't have to have all of these in. But of course by Hearthstone rules we can only have a maximum of 2. And then last but not least, I'm trying to find other Mage cards that we have. 2 Snow Chuggers and a Flame Cannon and 2 Spears. Is that all we have? I swear we had some more Mage cards. Help me out, guys. Do you know what? That may well be all we have. I'm looking over. Oh, we've got Toshli, of course. How can we forget Toshli? Toshli goes in. So, in goes Toshli. Of course, our mega legend. Right, so, hey guys, Twitch emote, hey guys. I think that's actually all the Mage cards we have. We've got Flame Cannon, 2 Snow Chuggers and 2 Soot Spears. So, would you like to be only 5 of those? Yeah. But, we did actually have more Warlock cards, so when we come back to build that Warlock deck, we'll see how that goes. Right, so what are we going to build around it? So I'm going to start reading out some of the all classes cards, so you guys can have a think. So we've got Toshli, Cogmaster, we've got Little Exorcist, Tinkertown Text ×2, 2 Antique Heal Bots, 2 Snow Chuggers, we've got a Mech Yeti, we've got a Piloted Sky Golem, Goblin, the Giblin Stalkers, we've got Force Tank Maxes, we've got Puddle Stompers as Morlock, and then Arcane Nullifier, Stone Splinter Trog as well as all classes, Ships Cannons, not that we have any pirates, Burly Rock Jaw Trog, Gnomish Experimenter, we've got Lost Tool Striders as well, and then Annoyatrons, Ogre Brutes and Goblin Sappers. Okay, so going through that mana curve, I think we're just going to play 2 Annoyatrons. So it says 2, yeah. I think we're going to, let's go and build a Mech Mage. So again, I'm going to start throwing cards in that we have. Where's the Little Exorcist? And we're going to try and make the most viable deck we can using what we've got. I think we can make a deck. We could make the deck better with other stuff, but that would be less fun, wouldn't it? So, Puddle Stompers. I love it. 6 Puddle Stompers. We're going to get some of those dissed. Stone Splinter Trog. We had one of those, didn't we? I do believe. Yeah, we did. Okay. So, I'm putting these in and then we can remove them at our leisure. Righty then. I've got Goblin Sapper. I believe we had 2 of those. We can always keep those in. In fact, there's a way I can make this so much easier for myself. I just changed it to Goblins versus Gnomes. Right, we had 1 Cogmaster. I'm going to throw that in. 2 Annoyatrons. Going to throw those in. We had an Explosive Sheep, didn't we? I'm pretty sure we had an Explosive Sheep. We did. We could always keep the Explosive Sheep. We had the Mech Warper, just the 1, I believe. Spider Tank. Oh, we had one of those as well. We've got ridiculous mech action going on. The Gnomish Experimenter. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. Mech Squad, says Baby Silver. That is totally the case. I'm going to go for 2 Ogre Brute, because as I've harped on to you guys before, now we had 2 Tinkertown techs, didn't we? So if we had 2 Tinkertown techs, it's alright with you guys. I'm probably going to use my gold one, because that's fun. But we'll definitely have 2 of those in there. Hey, see, look, we've almost packed out a deck already with stuff. We've got 1 Arcane Nullifier, we definitely had one of those. Burly Rockjaw Trog, we also had one of those. Burly Rockjaw Trog. If we can take 1 game with this, I'll be quite happy. I think we've got a good chance of taking a game with this, particularly at the place in the ladder we're at. So we had a Mech Yeti as well, just the 1. Lost Tall Striders, I'm going to leave those out for the time being, but we can always come back to those, because we've got some room for some of those. Now, Piloted Shredder, did we have one of those? I think we did. Definitely had a Piloted Sky Golem. Did we have a Piloted Shredder? Nullifier. Did I miss the Nullifier? Yeah, we've got the Nullifier. Excellent. Piloted Sky Golem. We can put in the Piloted... I'd like a Piloted Sky Golem. Lovely. Now, I just think in my head, I've got a Shredder... No, that's the Paladin. Paddle Stomper. Siege Engine. My brain's just going boom. Mechanical Yeti. No, I don't. We didn't have a Piloted Shredder, did we? Hack the game and put 30 chuggers in. That would be very exciting. I would love to play a game with 30 chuggers. However, alas. Oh, don't forget the Antique Healbot as well. I'm going to put 2 of those in, but we can always drop 1 out. Let's not forget. The War Tank thing. Siege Tank Max. Force Tank Max. That's totally true. Again, we can drop some of those out. So let's take a look at our curve at the moment. There's nothing wrong with having a Force Tank Max as a finisher, you know. It's a mech as well, don't forget this card. So it will benefit from all of the mechage we have going on. Other stuff that I've not put in as of yet. We can now start removing bits to see how we can go. Spider Tank, Mech Warper, Ship's Cannon, don't want to put in. The Burly Rockjaw Trog we've got in there. I think that could be fun. Or we could go more pure mech rather than have these Trog cards kicking around. Gnomish Experimenter, Lost Tall Striders, they would just fit in the middle. Okay, so we've got a lot of pressure in the early game, and then suddenly it all goes nuts later. Right then, Arcane Nullifier, Stone Splinter Trog. I think this is pretty much our card pool for this deck. Apart from Giblins, Puddle Stompers, and similar. So, okay. Now we're going to do the tweaky teching. So how can we make this more viable, or as much as we can? And I think we should play a game on the ladder for fun. So early game, we have got lots in the early game we can play. Explosive Sheep will help us against Rush, as will the Little Exorcist. Little Exorcist will be great against Death Rattling Rush decks. Can throw down a Cogmaster. We've got Sheep, we've got the Giblin Stalker, Mech Warper, Snow Chugger, Stones from Detroit, 2 Goblin. I've got Goblin Sapper. Do we want to get rid of the Goblin Sappers and maybe put in some more late game? 4 attack when your opponent has 6 or more cards in hand. That's kind of tech in case you play against a handlock. I'm going to drop that. I feel that our 3 is good, so I think maybe we could get rid of those. Stone Splinter I like the thought of against mages. That's why I'd leave that in there, and there are a few mages throwing around. Ogre Brute, 2 of those. I think that this will just be fine. It's a really solid card. I'd pick it we picked it in Arena last night. I'd pick it many times over. Soot Spewer, well, we have no spell damage. Are we just picking this because it's a mage? Mage card. Well, it's a 3/3/3 and it's a mech, so I guess we can use it to fire off our Tinkertown techs and similar. The Burly Rockjaw, whenever your opponent casts a spell, gain 2. If we're going to have some Trogs for some counter spells. Mech Yeti, 2 Healbots. They'll keep us alive, but what we're really lacking is sort of some mid-game damage. So, given that we've dropped those 2 earlier game cards, how many Bomb Lobbers did we have? Goblin Sap. No, did we have any Bomb Lobbers? I'm taking a look through our list. I'm pretty sure we had a Bomb Lobber at some point. 4 Dark Bombs. Mech Bear Cats. Toshli. Toshli's our big finisher. It's going to be amazing. Bomb Lobber. I don't know if we did pick any Bomb Lobbers. I've played The Binding of Isaac. PGS had the Binding. I played it, but I have not finished it, and I don't actually own it. long story. Goblins. No, I can't see bomb lobbers. Right, so we need some mid-game damage. We did have a salty dog as well in there, didn't we? I just keep on thinking of naughty dog. I'm going to pop in 2 lost tall striders. 454. We did have a piloted sky golem. I put the piloted sky golem in. But I was just saying I couldn't remember whether we had a shredder. Piloted shredder. There we go. So, I think we'll have a couple of games of this and then we'll jump in. We'll try and make a warlock deck as well for fun as well. So we good. So I'm going to save this for posterity. I'm going to put together it's a T-Mage in honour of Mr. T. We have Easy Legend, we now have T-Mage, and we'll have T-Lock as well. That'll finish things off. So, in many ways, this is a bit of a weird one, but it's a good way of trying to learn about the cards and learn about the sets. You know, if you force, and if any of you have ever watched Day 9, I'll give him full credit for this one, but it's forcing a sort of set of constraints on yourself, forcing yourself to only sort of make a deck or sort of play in a particular way, and then you can find not only cool things about a bunch of cards, but you can also discover things that, you know, may work in a different context. So absolutely a fun thing to do. T-Mage, there we go, there is our list. So we keep control of, we've knocked a few cards off the top of there, of course. Don't get, well, there's one Cogmaster. So I think with this curve we grab control in the early to mid game, and then may gods have mercy on our soul. It would be rude if we did not play this on ladder. We're going straight in at rank 15. We're going to do it. It's going to be good. Cannot wait for this to kick off. And a big welcome to Faradin and Zero Med as well. Good to have you with us. Enhancer Meccano, it is good. I love the cultured Romeo and Juliet reference. Okay, so we're playing a warrior. This could be an aggro. This could be a control. Although I'm going to keep a flame cannon. That's pretty good for nuking stuff off the table the other game. An ogre brute. Never underestimate. It's not ogre till it's ogre. For ogre brutes can do some nasty early game damage. Okay, the one problem with this deck curve wise is that obviously because I've got so much 2, 3 and 4 mana, nothing to drop turn 1. So we will soon see from within 2 or 3 turns tops what this. Let's watch this confusion. Let's watch the confusion. He's like, Giblin, why are you playing a Giblin? What are you doing? This is ladder. This is ladder. We don't care. So I've seen a few Enrage and armour up variants of warrior at this point in the ladder, but remember we're quite low. This is rank 15. In comes a coin for a 3-drop, and we see an Acolyte of Pain. This is so far so standard. So now, do I start throwing down the ogres? I think I do. Now the advantage of this is if I don't do damage to the enemy hero, I'm going to kill the Acolyte of Pain in 1. And I've still got that flame cannon, I can remove a minion in 1. So ideally, you remove an Acolyte of Pain or an Armor Smith in 1 go, 1 shot, so they only get 1 armor or 1 card draw. Well, Armor Smith depends if there are other Armor Smiths similar on the table, but if you're attacking an Armor Smith or an Acolyte of Pain, you either use removal that doesn't do damage, or you try and kill them in 1 shot. There you go, the Taskmaster. So that's actually going to give an even trade there. Or he may just try and strip this down. Yeah, he's just trading that away, and you see, because I didn't kill that in 1 go, I could have flame cannoned it. He's got 2 cards worth of draw. This is looking very much like a control warrior deck, by the way. So we've got a little Exorcist that we could throw down. The Lost Torch Stride will give us some options. The Burly Rockjaw will let us start trading as well. So I'm going to throw down the Rockjaw, and look at that. You can see that because of the 50% chance to attack the wrong one, I've actually cleared the table. So while the table's like this, I don't mind that too much. When there are more minions on the table and you want your ogre, you want your 4 damage from your minion to do something specific, then it's a problem. Of course, nothing on the table, no problem. In comes a Death Spite. Gonna start hard control, hit me to the face. Be an interesting decision what he does with this Death Spite. And by the way, everything we've seen so far totally reflects a control warrior. So Little Exorcist, Battlecrying Taunt. And don't forget, this will do 4 to 1, so ideally I would protect this next go if possible. If he attached me straight to the face, he may well have Executes in hand. Going for a straight control there, hoping to hit this on the table next go. And of course, remember, has not played a spell. So, having not played a spell, now 2 options here. I either throw down larger cards to be more of a awkward threat, or I can try and preserve that Trog. I'm going to try and preserve the Trog. Now, this may be a misplay, we'll see. Throwing down bigger threats, Control Warrior, I ideally want to nuke them down before the mid-late game, because in the mid-late game then they're just going to start bringing the pain. All of the big nasty cards. Swing, and then I fully expect we may well see an Execute follow in after that. It'll gain 2 attack, but then it'll die, so that's not going to help. It is worth noting though that we've actually got our Control Warrior down to 18 health, so the early to early mid-game nature of this deck not working too bad so far. Down goes a Fury Axe, probably going to see an armour up straight after that. Potentially an Execute, not entirely sure. I just feel that if our opponent had an Execute, they would have probably thrown it down by this point. There you go. So I receive no benefit. Now I'm happy. Execute is hard removal, but don't forget he's got another Execute, probably 2 Shield Slam. However, we now get chugga 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 chugga. And if he does drive into that, then he's going to get frozen in short order. Chugga song. What you want? I think we should have a little chugga song to celebrate. Alas. Chugga chugga. What you want? Come on, opposing warrior, you can do it. I'm gonna bang the gong. Bang the gong. Precision calculated moves, floating the card from on high. Down goes a Belcher, that's going to slow us up a big bunch. Probably see a removal of the Chugga, yep. And we get a Frozen Warrior. So at least that means that the Warrior's not going to be attacking next go. Offensive options, aplenty. Down goes Lost Tool Strider number 2, and our opponent must just be thinking, what? Okay, options. Kowalski, give me options. Fans of Penguins of Madagascar. So I've actually got damage on the deck there. We can throw down the Force Tank Max as our finisher. We've still not seen Toshli. In comes a shield block. And it's worth noting that basically if we get to turns 8 through 10, our Control Warrior here should start coming back real strong and real fast. Taskmaster for the removal. Nicely played. There's no point in me controlling because and you can see that the warrior now armouring up as well, so we did get our warrior down a reasonable amount. I'm just going to attack straight to face and say, hey, your move, pal. Can chip this away, can swing in, but we actually I've got a nice 12 damage there. If I could only get the Ogre Brutes and some more minions down, we'd be looking at a lethal. But I've not been able to stack the table with cards full enough in the early game, I think. Probably because our mana curve has got a lot of chunky stuff, chunky 3 and 4 drops. can get quite a congested hand there. Okie dokie, pondering from our warrior opponent. Pondering as to how to go forwards. Down goes a Sylvanas. That means that they will be able to suicide the Sylvanas for something of interest. Something of note. I don't really want to give away my force tank max. So that's pretty much saying, if you don't attack me, I will still force tank max, so that is a little frustrating. But what I can do is just fill the table with more cards. This is the easiest way of countering a Sylvanas Windrunner. Just fill it of cards. Fill it with cards that you're not going to be too worried about. Potentially, now if they steal the force tank max, can sacrifice that, execute it. We'll probably charge into the force tank max and say, right, okay, I've just about got lethal. Quick maths, yeah, I do have lethal, but with an armour up. So if they steal the force tank, that's going to be awkward. Oh, come on, what are the odds? What are the odds? How lucky can you get? Sorry guys, we are so close. We are so close. We could still have something that wins us the day, but that makes things awkward. With 9 mana left as well, a control warrior should have like Ragnarosses, all kinds of big nasty stuff. If tanks start going down, we'll have some trouble. Armor's up to 11. The one thing that we didn't want to happen happened. If they'd stolen any of the other minions, we would have had lethal. But that's why Sylvanas is so awkward. And why Sylvanas is a great drop to have in some decks. Oh, and down goes an Alexstrasza. Heals back up to 15. So they now have obscene amounts of damage. 15 damage can go down next go. Right, so I'm going to throw down a Chugger. Oh, got it down to 5. Oh, needs to trade minions off the table. I have 5 whatever minions that they take. There's a 25% chance of taking that force tank max. And with a shield block, I think that we have just seen this game creep away from us. Alas, down goes an armor smith. And I think our control warrior, yes, that is going to do 1 damage to all minions. Not just some minions, but all minions. And now from 5 health, gone up with a couple of armor smiths and a shield block and an armor up. I very much do not think that we're going to be able to make this happen now. If only we had a pyroblast. We were so close. We were so close. Oh. I'm gonna. We'll keep persevering, but given the yeah, there's no way we're coming back from here, so let's try and play another game. Use the Chugger on the legendary. We could have used Chugger on Alexstrasza and slowed it down. That would have been an option. Let's get another game in. I feel that that one would have been swinging against us because all of the big cards would have come out, and our challenge would have been that unless we'd managed to drop Toshi, we could have frozen it. It's very true. It was just that force tank max. Were it not for that force tank max, we would have had game. So, Mage, totally viable, in my opinion. A rogue. Rogues are rare nowadays since Miracle Rogue got a little bit slapped around. Right, I'm totally happy with this. We're going second as well, let's not forget. The only way it could be better is if we had Mech Warper, but we can go Snow Chugger, remember, of course, we're playing a weapons class as well, again in a rogue, so we can have some fun with Snow Chugger slowing that rogue down. Tinkertown Tech into turn 3, and we're going to be very, very happy with that opening. So here's the thing, do you take a risk? This is the or you can throw down. You don't. What you do is you throw down a Mech Warper, coin, and then drop a Snow Chugger. And that'll be a beautiful, beautiful turn 2 set of minions on the table. Be really, really nice. Wisp Chugger. Every card damaged by this card turns into a Wisp. It's a pretty strong idea. Portal online. Okay, so I want to have the Snow Chugger for the freeze ability. My opponent's got a bit of a dilemma there now. Do they remove the Mech Warper? They may. The thing is, if you were facing this in a ladder game, you'd think that you were playing Mech Mage. What is the bottom thing, the thing in the bottom left, do? Oh, and then comes a backstab. And going for the removal. Fan of Knives. Okay. Gets the card draw. And then voluntarily goes for the freeze, probably because he's got a piece of removal in there. So a good set of plays by our opponent there. There you go. That's what the stuff in the bottom left does. That's a shame I lost the Mech Warper, because we could have had 2 drops next turn. I could have had an Anoitron and a Spider Tank. As is, I need to make a decision between them. I'm going to go for the Tinkertown Tech, because that's going to give me Time Rewinder, very nice. I can chugger it up, keep that frozen. Because he actually chose to swing into that, I feel that there's a 1 removal. And there we go. A Shiv. In comes an Eviscerate. And our rogue is controlling, looks like some kind of control rogue throwing into... Toshli. Lovely stuff. So I can Trog into an Anoitron. I'm going to stabilise the table, I think. Of course, the rogue has been throwing around spells. So that Trog could become a little nasty. Down goes a Drake, just straight up. Free spell there. Backstab, 3 damage. Yes. Of course, it's going to be removal on that. Going to pop that away. So our rogue in actually quite a strong position at this point in time. So we've got a 5/5. Now I can overbrute. That will certainly remove that from the table, which I'm quite happy with. Now I could have picked it up and dropped it down again to regenerate the bubble. I think it's actually the first time that I've set everything off using that. Oh, just slightly missed the zap there, and zap, pew. There we go, we can launch the rocket. Now we see what it is. It's a token rogue deck. Going to be throwing out cheap spells to be getting Violet Mage summons. So I could throw down Toshli, but that's probably just going to die with this kind of set of stuff on the table. Okay, Nullify will certainly slow down my opponent. However, if I do that, then they've got to decide how they're going to go for removal. Nice thing about this, can't be targeted by spells or hero powers, so at least that's going to slow our opponent down some. I always like the random item generation. We have a mana crystal. Weapon 3 attack, and give a random minion 3 attack. Buffing into the 4, very nice play there. Going to see that trade away, going to see that trade away, and then we have the charge of the Lilies. So we still have the options of Burning Rockjaw. Whenever any spell goes down, that's going to gain attack. A tad of a little error there, because of course I can use the ping of the 1 Mage spell to remove that. Maybe I should have played one of the other minions for a trade, we'll see. So we're not out of this game, just that as we get into the later game we know again that our rogue will probably be throwing down bigger finisher cards, or looking to do some buffing on top of these little minions. In comes a sap. And of course, it doesn't matter that my attack goes up because it's returned to hand, as we see there. Down goes our own opponent's Arcane Nullifier. Am I saving Toshli for a rainy day that's never going to arrive? We Show them no mercy. Yeah, Toshley. Toshley Station. And we see a nice rogue controlled Etcher flavour in as well. In comes, now I always say that Tinker's Shop Sword is situational, but if you're running little weapons and a couple of them, then of course you can do some goodness with it. And of course that combo buffing the minions up as well, very nice indeed. Right, we don't have any death rattles there. I would want to use at least 2 to remove that, but we're already down to 11 health and in a bit of a tough position. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11. My opponent has lethal. Unless we play the little Exist, so we're going to have to throw that down. I'm going to throw down reversing switch. The minions attack and health. I don't really want to do that for any of my opponent's things. We'll throw down a Trog and see if we can slow things down. Blood Mage Thanos, Blade Flurry. So, very painful indeed. Well played. It's not bad. The fact is that, I mean, if we even just bought in some basic cards, we can make it very strong. Not to worry. Okay, for our final game, to round out tonight's episode, we are going to take T-Mage and we're going to try and build that Warlock deck. So we've got T-Mage recorded for prosperity, and let's see, regardless of whether we take a few losses or not, you've actually built some decks that kind of go toe to toe. They've not been awful, you know, for a couple of cards. They've actually been very, very close. And of course, if we were playing other people with the same restrictions, and this is where if you play a draft in any card game, or if you play Arena, when you're playing people with the same restrictions, that's when these kind of decks really start to shine. So do not be disconcerted or downhearted. The deck is not failing, remember. We are just playing with a different set of rules to everyone else. And we're doing pretty well, if I may say so. Righty, so I think, do we have 2 Mistresses of Pain? I think we might have done. Remember, of course, we had all the Dark Bombs we could ever want, so I'm going to grab those in. What else did we have? We had sort of the same mech core. So I think we're probably going to put together a mech core in a similar fashion. We had an Implosion. I'm definitely going to play Implosion because that's loads of fun. Let's grab one of them. Set GvG. It's a good reminder there. Loving that work. No Fell Cannons. We didn't get a Demon Heart. That would have been excellent. So I'm going to grab the Cogmaster. 2 of those. Probably an Explosive Sheep. One of the Mech Warpers. I can now pretty much remember conveniently what we had in. One little Exorcist again, 2 of those, 1 of those, 2 of those, 1 of those, 1 of those, 2 of those. We never saw a Mech Yeti. I feel slightly betrayed by our Mech Yeti. As you stream aficionados would say, hell, Unpiloted Sky got him. Okay, so Warlocky Arcane Nullifier. Did I put in the Arcane Nullifier? I did. Excellent. Excellent. Burly Trog, Lost Tall Strider, maybe a bit more damage of some description in that mid-game. The Goblin Sapper, that could have been handy actually. You know, we removed the Goblin Sapper. I'm going to put one of those back in, potentially 2. Not only does it help us trade against Rush, but against that big hand of the Rogue, it might have been kind of handy. 2 Floating Watchers, of course, that would be very nice too. Sadly, no Snow Chuggers. I know, it's a big loss to us. How will we survive? Take it slowly, one day at a time. That's the only way we can get through this. Burly Rupture Trog, Antique Healbots. We dropped in some Healbots, didn't we? I'm just going to go for the 1 Healbot. Let's go for some tech there, rather than going on outside. We had the Spider Tank, we had the Mech Warper, didn't we? I see a Spider Tank, I see a Mech Warper. Good. And then last but not least, Jiraxus. I do not have Jiraxus, but I will make him. I will produce him. I almost have enough dust, so when we've done a dish, I should have. Oh, look at that. Would you look at that? There you go. Cha-ching! So that's where Jiraxus is coming in. Good enough for Draxis. Force tank max. Okay. Good choice. I'm liking your work there, Baby Silver. Righty then, so to round out today's stream, we're going to do a final. And of course, we're going to be laddering. Never give up, never surrender, as the heroes and heroines of Galaxy Quest would tell you. We shall never surrender. We shall fight them on the beaches. We shall defend our island. I'm gonna save for web. So should you, hopefully this will give you a little bit of inspiration when you're in the arena, seeing those goblins versus gnome cards, having a look at them. Okay, what have we got? So in this deck, we still just want the mech opening. I'm quite happy with the Ogre Brute. I don't mind going into an Arcane Nullifier, but I just feel as though 4, I'd probably rather have some more of those sweet 2 and 3 drops. And we've got them. We've got exactly the ones we were looking for. Tears of Snow. Okay, so we can then get a turn 2 Spider Tank. We'll take the risk. We're playing a Shaman. Let's do this, folks. Can T-Lock succeed where T-Mage failed? Where T-Mage didn't fail. The metagame failed. The metagame was against creativity. In comes a Craggle. Hey, and our opponent's overloaded for a turn. Don't mind that too much. Shame, of course, we can't get that Spider Tank down, but guess what? We're a Warlock. We don't care. We can just life tap. Hey, I'd love customer mates. All we need is a mere plain and simple. Oh, I was actually going to play the Spider Tank to drop the Tinkertown Tech the turn after. But hey, we can just Ogre Rush. If we get 500 consecutive viewers a day, I think, for 4 or 5 days, then we can try and partner. T-Mage did not fail. As I said, the ladder failed. The ladder let us down. Righty then, so an explosive sheep will cause some trouble. There's no death rattle minions of note. Hey, my opponent can't continue overloading forever, and Spider Tank will give me some good opportunity to trade these away, so I can Spider Tank into a Tinkertown Tech. I could even Arcane Nullifier. Righty then, so buffed up with that oh so nasty. Shamans like casting spells. There's no death rattle minions, that will get punched through. The Ogre, well, the Ogre will then just get traded off most likely by something. Our opponent does not have 6 more cards in hand at this point. So I'm going to play the Explosive Sheep because that would just be fun. And in all likelihood we're going to see this is that by something, and this is going to trade for that, and we know how this is going to go. There'll be some kind of little nasty Earth Shock or something out there to get us. But we don't care, for we're playing with Goblins vs Gnomes pack-only cards. And our cause is righteous. Hello! Ringing the gong. In comes a lightning storm. Saddens me, because of course that remaining damage is going to take out my minion. Should have expected that. Should have played the Trog. Trogzor. In comes the Arcane Nullifier, I'm thinking, because we just need to slow down this carnage. In comes a Floating Watcher. Floating Watcher will help us with some trades, but really I need a 4 and a 3. We will look to... Okay, we see the trades coming through, and this just shows the pain if you are lacking a bit of removals. In comes Dog Bomb. Where have you been all our lives? Right, now options here. Really would prefer to remove this, but you just notice our opponent's playing Doomhammer. How antisocial can you get? Honestly, I ask you. So, I think really, our options here are somewhat limited. I would like to potentially slow my opponent down. They can control pretty much whatever they want by swinging the Doomhammer. Doomhammer will eat that for breakfast, so there's no real point in that. They don't have loads on the table. I think the Birdie Rockjaw might be the way forward, just because it's got 5 health, so it can't get swung through in one go without that Doomhammer getting buffed in some shape or form. However, Stone Bite are weapons. Righty then. As we get slowly into the end. In comes a Hex, and you know that this Shaman is sitting pretty. If he's going to use a Hex on that kind of card, he's probably staring at this deck thinking, what is going on? Second Feral Spirit. Goodbye to my poor little frog. And alas, remember of course we're playing with Goblins vs. Gnomes only cards from 15 boosters. Very kindly donated by Nobility Farmer. So we have 8 there, no 4 there, 8, 10. And if he does sacrifice something, we've got 12, so that's almost a loss, so we really need to throw this down. That's at least going to slow our opponent up a bit. As for anything else, well, it's just getting cards on the table to try and make trades. So nothing really there. We did have a mech. Could have thrown down a Yeti as well. I think the mech Yeti with its higher health. And we'll cross our fingers muchly. Okay, so as we probably come to what will be the end of this game and therefore our stream for this evening, thanks so much for tuning in. What we have done for a bit of fun is take some very kindly drafted packs, very kindly gifted packs, and have a little experiment and see what would happen if we tried to build decks just from the contents of 15 packs. We've made what looks like an alright mage deck, made look like a pretty alright warlock deck in some form or another, and we've rushed on in. And do you know what? We actually almost won a couple of games with our mage deck. So, absolutely nothing wrong with it whatsoever. And bear in mind that our opponents, even though we're low on the ladder, we're just playing around at 15 or 16, our opponents are not playing under the same constraints as we are. So, it just goes to show. You can build fun decks, and if you're playing at lower ranks on the ladder, you don't need to worry. You can have a bunch of fun as well. I just wish I could play finicky, cloaky field on my own hero. I'm going to play it on that and bow out in honour. But we were close in that warrior game. If we did not have a force tank max stolen off us, we'd be fine. So close. And of course, if we dropped in some normal cards, then not only would our deck have been viable, but it wouldn't have been as fun. So that is it for this evening. Do come join us if you're on YouTube. Come check us out, twitch.tv/FailCraft Casts. We go live Monday through Friday. Schedule in the bottom left. I still need to update this to GMT rather than BST. Alas, it is not summer anymore. It is January 2015 in this episode. Winter is coming, if winter is not already come and almost gone. Alas and alack. You can also find us youtube.com/FailCraft Casts. If you throw subs there, please do like, comment, share. Let us know what you'd like to see. Let us know what you think was rubbish, what you think we could improve to. Last but not least, come find us on Twitter at FailCraft Casts. We always tweet there with a few bits and bobs too. So thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully see you sometime soon, be it live, be it on YouTube. Say hello wherever you like. And thank you to everyone who's joined us live on stream this evening. Big shout out to Warband Paul, Faradin, Noble T Farmer, Zano, Zero Med, PG Stuck, and Baby Silver. See you all soon.